It's 11:35 here on 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Just as they promised, they're here.
Yes, we are here.
Yay! Kathleen Norman. She is Stafford County Economic Development Director. Also, for a few more days, the AmeriCorps VISTA Falon Runnebaum.
Hello. Good to be here for a few more days, for sure.
This is like your graduation show. I mean, right?
So, something like that. I've definitely had a bit of senioritis, which isn't quite the right term since I'm not a senior.
You don't have senioritis, let me tell you, okay? So your year's coming is up right now, huh?
It is, yeah. It's winding down, which is a little funny considering that I feel like the things in Stafford County right now are winding up. Things are finally starting to really move forward. So it's a little sad to be leaving at this point, but...
So take me back a year ago. Okay, you arrived. What was going on? Where'd you come from? And then how'd you get started on all this?
So I came from the Lawrence, kind of Kansas City area. I've always had roots down here with Halstead, so I ended up back in the area. First thing, since I started, we've really been focusing on childcare and just the housing project that's been ongoing. That started before I came. The childcare, like I said, is the biggest thing that I feel like I've really been focusing on, the development of the Stafford County Child Care Committee, and then having those group of people really be able to come together and try and figure out how to solve the crisis that's facing the county. So,
and you were also there as a sounding board, backup psychologist for our new director, because you went through that too, right?
Yeah. I was there through the transition. Definitely interesting to see how it all worked. But Kathleen's been great. She really fits into the role, and she made the transition easy. Sometimes having that executive directors kind of switch off isn't as such, but it was a very smooth process. It's been a great year. It really has.
Well, some of your highlights. You said the child care. That was your big baby, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's probably it. Just the fact that we have the funding to bring in that modular unit that's going to provide 2 child cares. As I just learned, I guess we are going to have a location secured. We signed a contract on that, so it's really come to fruition. We're really hoping that by the end of this year, maybe beginning of next year, we'll have that up and going.
Wow.
And that glosses over some of the stuff too, which can be easy, when you start looking back on things. But, and not everything always comes to light, but we were working with an entity, which we'll probably go back to working with. But if you're using a commercial space for childcare, you have to work with the fire marshal to get the space inspected and up to code for what they require. And part of what took a number of weeks was she was working with one of the churches in St. John on getting the blueprints and everything together to make application to the fire marshal, to have the application to the fire marshal be like, we have an online portal, but we don't use the online portal, so I'll need you to email me everything. And so some of it's she's really been a good sport working through that and doing some grant writing. She wrote a grant in the spring cycle to the community foundation here, which got funding that now it's being put towards the modular project. The hope originally was maybe it would be doing modifications to existing buildings, but those buildings haven't materialized as we had first kind of had inclination they might.
Wow. So, okay, when you started, and what did you hope to get out of this experience, and then what have you got out of this experience, Falon?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like one of the biggest things going in was that I did want to do some grant writing, so I only got to kind of dip my toes in that, but it was still good. I'm happy that the one grant that I wrote, I was awarded. So I feel like that's
You're one for
right?
one.
Hey, 1 for 1. That's all you can ask. It was a small number. It still is going to come in great hand for the projects that we're doing. Just learning, I feel about economic development as a whole, and just all the amount of money it costs to do things. I feel like that's probably been my biggest eye opener here. Just any project, may it be construction or bringing in child cares or just anything. I feel learned a lot about business in my time here, and I feel like that's really going to help me in my future. Okay,
you're talking about this child care thing. How you're plowing ahead on this effort to make it work, and when was the thing we said, we might just pull this off?
Oh gosh, when would that have been? Yeah, I feel like it's just been so up in the air for so long that we were just is this ever actually going to happen?
So May would have been about the time we really gained traction. So it was interesting. So Falon's timing lined up with the child care committee was a joint effort. So I know like Extension kind of started gathering people together, and a feasibility study was done, which Falon was also boots on the ground for. She was able to go to like parent-teacher conferences at the different school districts to get people to fill out, the survey. She's been there basically kind of from the beginning of the committee's, founding to help carry out different aspects of it. And again, like we had some leads and didn't get traction with like working with the church right away. We thought that might have been a faster process than it's ended up being. And even now things are in limbo because you have change in, pastors or whatnot. And so it was in April that there was a heavy push to put together a proposal to go to county commission. And then it was by the beginning of June, we fully had funds solidified. But in May, St. John said, we will contribute to what you've proposed, which was to bring in a modular. And then county commission said, we'll make the project whole. And things have come up now where we're buying land, which we hadn't intended to do. And we have figured out funding for the most part on that. It's moving forward, but I think she's seeing some of the reality of like this. So you get traction, you don't get traction. And sometimes there's bureaucracy. I know she's seen, at least with our housing. She's one thing that was behind the scenes is she's helped with our housing assessment. So doing a lot of work looking at some of that's data, a lot of it's data pulling, and it's stuff that's required for going after grants, for doing other things. And it's not glamorous work. It's necessary. It really helps in terms of supporting, the overall initiatives.
What's next?
Next, I'm going to be headed back up to the northeast corner of Kansas here, back up to the Kansas City area, just to be back around, family, friends, everything. And I have been applying for jobs just left and right, seeing
how do you handle a camera okay?
Do I handle a camera okay?
Yeah. Have you done video work before?
Not entirely. I can take a mean photo, but I don't know about videos.
Really? Stick around after the show's over with.
Duly
today.
noted.
So yeah, okay. So now we get a new Vista.
Yeah, so it's a little different this time because we're getting a remote Vista.
A remote Vista.
Yes. So it previously hasn't been an option to have someone perform the Vista role working remotely.
Uh-huh.
But I know the pandemic has shifted a lot of things in the world, which includes that AmeriCorps will allow now for Vistas to serve remotely. So there's a woman actually in Olathe, the Kansas City area, who's previously been a Vista. She served during the pandemic remotely, who was interested in our position. We didn't have any other interest. And so we're going to see how it goes.
Okay. I just remember the Big Bang Theory when Sheldon was a computer monitor and he went around on wheels. And you'll have to get a wheel cart, with that person's head on it. Anyway.
Right.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll have more of our show today. And yeah, we've got an announcement, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's coming up here.
The 2022 Cruise the Square Car Show returns Saturday, August 27th in downtown St. John. Registration now open. Call 620-549-3208 or email sjcity@gbta.net to get registered. There will be a beer garden, burnout competition, a raffle, and the car show awards. All proceeds benefit the St. John Jubilee Fund. Like, share, and follow the Around the Square St. John, Kansas Facebook page for more details and events.
SJ Bank of Kansas knows the value of rural Kansas and is committed to all of the communities they serve, personal to business banking and more. They offer mobile banking options too. Download their app at SJN Bank of Kansas and find them online at sjnbank.com. Serving you since 1905 and with 6 locations. SJN Bank of Kansas in St. John, Maxville, Hudson, Burdett, Greensburg, and La Crosse. Member FDIC.
Hey folks, this is Trey Bergen with Ag 360 Insurance in St. John. We are an independent agency offering several types of insurance, including crop, farm, irrigation, business, personal, and life. We would appreciate an opportunity to earn your business. Feel free to stop by our office at 103 East 4th Avenue in St. John, or give us a call at 620-549-3579. You can also check us out online at ag360insurance.com.
Negotiations continue as we go through the program. Oh, it's great to have Kathleen Norman with us and Falon Runnebaum. You can just stop by sometime. We'll just do a show, okay?
Why not?
I mean,
Yeah. Sounds like a good time.
4 more days, right?
4 more days.
Yeah, okay. As AmeriCorps VISTA. So, what do you think? I mean, you weren't used to this smaller time.
I don't know quite much about that.
Okay.
Like I said, I grew up in a town since I was I was born in Texas, moved here as a baby though to Kansas. I grew up in a small town called Beatty, and then Waterville and Blue Rapids. So all 3 of those towns have very, very small populations. Beatty doesn't even have a school, so it's...
I feel bad now because I probably asked her about this a year ago and everything. So, yeah, Waterville. You went to
Valley Heights.
Valley
Good
Heights.
job, yeah.
Yeah, do you know the Noltes?
I'm sure my family does.
Okay, all right.
They're all up there. I haven't, I go
Okay.
back there and visit, but it's been since I was in 3rd grade, which let's not give my age away here, but it's been a long time since I've been, been active in that
anyway,
community.
okay, because you have to get that. All right. So, the new road... I want to get in this child care announcement really quick because you've got a location for this, right?
Right. So, there's the committee approved moving forward with the purchase of land if the money was there to do it. And so, 413 North Pearl in St. John, it's the corner of Pearl and 5th Avenue, will be the location of where this modular is going. It's super close to the school. It's a block away from the school. There's currently a house there that's in deteriorating condition. And so the house is going to be demolished, everything leveled, and then we'll bring in the modular classroom. And I don't know, it'll be good for multiple ways. In the
Okay, so people are hearing this right now, and they say, well, I need to get in there because child care, you can't get... I mean, is it open for enrollment now, or is it already full?
It's not open for enrollment, and it's not full.
Okay.
So, and that becomes the thing. So the Child Care Committee and Economic Development, they are not operating the daycare itself.
Right.
They are providing the space that's equipped for an independent provider to operate. So now that we kind of have the land secured, and I'm kind of more solidifying a timeline for the actual modular to show up within probably the next month or so, probably 4 to 6 weeks, we'll be putting out requests for people interested in providing to start getting them on board. And they will then independently be owning their business. So people will be probably flocking to them to try to get spots.
Okay. Very well put. Okay.
So yeah, it's twofold, but we'll have the challenges. Again, it's considered commercial. We'll be going through a fire marshal inspection on this building. And then after that, you can start the KDHE inspection, but that requires having the independent providers in place because they'll be the ones getting licensed for the space.
What have you learned about fire regulations?
That's really about all I can say to that.
Oh, okay.
No,
there's a lot of them, and I guess
there are a lot. They're all needed. Going through the process, it's made it a lot easier. The people at the fire marshal office are great. I mistakenly thought the online portal worked, and it's not really a thing that they use. And immediately I was called from somebody from their office and was in great detail explained how to do it. The way my mind works, I still didn't do it right. But now I know from the feedback that I, again, got back from the actual fire marshal that, what to do to bring it forward. So that's why I still plan on zooming into calls and helping with this just because I've had that experience now and how to deal with them and what exactly they're looking for. So
she can't say, yeah, you're still connected.
I know, always.
So, well, congratulations, guys, because people are watching and probably wonder, wow, look what they did.
It's been big. And so we talked about having a remote VISTA, and one of the things that she's going to help with is, Edwards County is really where we've been looking to model some stuff out of. And I know Kiowa County has also talked to them. And all of us are doing similar but different things, but still kind of working off of, can we provide equipped spaces to have independent providers operate, which then gives stability to the overall like investment, but also doesn't have as much regulations or cost as doing a full facility, given our populations and current demand. And so that Vista is going to help us kind of create, here's the model, here's a guidebook. What have we learned? What have been mistakes? How do you better approach things? There's a lot of things you learn in the process that just aren't straightforward. And so I think that's our goal with, again, like Edwards County has been a great resource. I don't want to take all the credit. Like, this isn't us. It's how do you help share kind of the model, but I think that's really part of the goal of the new Vista is now that we're in this, let's start getting a guidebook to help when other communities ask questions or want to do something similar.
Okay, very good. Willie, we'll take our final break. We'll have more focused on Stafford County coming up after this.
The friendly staff at Stafford County Drug appreciates your patronage. The lobby is open and they offer a convenient drive-up window. They'll even deliver your prescriptions in Stafford, St. John, and Maxville for free. Stafford County Drug knows the value of a hard-earned dollar and wants to work with you and your doctor to make prescriptions easy. For any questions on switching your prescriptions to your local pharmacy, call pharmacist Chris Davis, 620-377-5633. Stafford County Drug, open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Inside White's Food Liner, Highway 281, St. John.
The 2022 Cruise the Square Car Show returns Saturday, August 27th in downtown St. John. Registration now open. Call 620-549-3208 or email sjcity@gbta.net to get registered. There will be a beer garden, burnout competition, a raffle, and the car show awards. All proceeds benefit the St. John Jubilee Fund. Like, share, and follow the Around the Square St. John, Kansas Facebook page for more details and events.
SJ&B Bank of Kansas knows the value of rural Kansas and is committed to all of the communities they serve. Personal to business banking and more. They offer mobile banking options too. Download their app at SJ&B Bank of Kansas and find them online at sjnbank.com. Serving you since 1905 and with 6 locations. SJ&B Bank of Kansas in St. John, Maxville, Hudson, Burdett, Greensburg, and La Crosse. Member FDIC.
Welcome back. Focus on Stafford County today. Kathleen Norman with us. Also, Falon Runnebaum on the program here today. Okay, I'll just, third segment here, 7 minutes. Where do you want to go?
There is so much going on right now, Steve. It's been an interesting couple of years because with the influx of funding from the federal government for different things, there's so many new projects and stuff. So, I think we have some things in the works that will be coming up more. We've already talked about the new housing development. And so for that, Stafford and St. John have bought into that housing development. So we're applying now for moderate income housing grants. There's additional housing resources that they're starting to kind of give information. All of this is new. So it's like hard because it's like you try to attend the webinars and whatever, but it's like I don't have all the answers yet. Next week, our office will be closed most of the week because Fallon will be gone. And Carolyn and I will be in Wichita at the Kansas Housing Conference. And so some of that, for me, I'm having to go to more of the compliance sections so that we can stay in compliance with the current housing project that's being developed that has kind of the income and age restrictions. Some sessions, though, aren't just that. It'll be learning about the new MIH stuff that's coming down the pike, best practices, what's working elsewhere.
What's MIH?
Oh, sorry. MIH stands for moderate income housing.
Okay.
So it's not that there's no restrictions, but there's very few restrictions. And so it's a much broader qualifying of people.
Yeah, that's a pretty good number.
And again, the goal is how do you help people qualify? And most people in our county, the incomes, they qualify for that. And there is overlap between our current housing and what the MIH would cover too. But the goal really is to how do you help kind of the middle ground be able to finance and afford, but also rent, housing. I mean, housing's a need everywhere. I mean, Stafford right now is really doing a lot. They've bought into the new housing development program, and they're also allocating money to the housing renovations or rehabilitation is really what it is. How do you save the housing that's still savable? Versus, I mean, we're continuing. I mean, there's houses there's nothing left to salvage. Like where I live, like a house was just torn down across the street, and it was bought with the intent to fix up, and you just couldn't once you got in there. Like you couldn't salvage it. And that's the challenge. I mean, we've been losing a significant number of houses, 225 plus in the past 20 years. We're going to continue to lose significant numbers because they're beyond the point of savability. But, having that renovation factor, the rehab is a huge need, as is new development.
Are there demolition grants available?
Not as much.
Because some of these small towns, I mean, I'd rather have an empty lot there than
a
just
dilapidated house.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there are no grants,
Right,
but it's not common. It's also, which is ironic now talking about housing, like there's very few grants used for like capital improvements or development. We're seeing a few more, like the HEAL program launched last year, which was for building and infrastructure. But like people don't tend to want to fund construction or capital projects. Housing's a little separate because there's specific funding for that.
Right.
But it's like, are there, grants for kind of like downtown development or business stuff? Not as much. We're starting to see some stuff with the extra funding to develop some of these programs that would be more beneficial. But the demo isn't as common.
Yeah. Anything new on Port Authority?
They're moving forward with land purchases. One tract has been purchased. The second one, there's still some stuff. There's currently a tenant leasing the land, and so they're working on getting that kind of new lease in place before the land transaction would occur. So,
wow.
It's good. Just a lot of things going. There's traction on that. I think we're going to be seeing stuff looking for at least some initial construction or site work starting, in 2023. Wow. So lots of things.
How do you know when you come in the morning what you're going to work on that day?
I try to make a to-do list the night before because otherwise it's overwhelming. It's like, what did we do today? What still needs to get done? And then here's like what we need to start with in the morning.
You've got a lot of initiatives going on out there right now, and that all need attention, right?
They do, and it's challenging. There's probably like 3 things right now we're looking at. Like Commerce yesterday just released a new kind of it's SEED, SEED, so it's like strategic enhancement and economic development, or I don't know, something like that. There's a webinar Monday, so I won't really know more till then. But we have these new initiatives that keeps launching, but it's like you have a month to submit a plan that's for a 12-month project, and it could meet these things. And so you don't want to miss out on some of that because there's so much need to do things. So it's just trying to figure out. Right now our organization, I would say, is stretched beyond capacity. We're getting through it, but I think we're looking at, can we bring on more staff? It just is. It's hard, and we're fortunate because, we're working with great people. Like yesterday, we were in Stafford for a meeting, and their city administrators wanting to do and see stuff. But, I don't know. I have a lot of to-do lists, and you just check it off as you can, one step at a time.
You can stay, Falon.
She's tried to convince me. She's tried. I've had a few people, but
it's fun talking to you over the past year. Good luck,
well.
okay?
Thank you.
Let's focus on Stafford County today on KVGB. Great Ben.